Welcome into the American Huddle alongside college football analyst Andy Gresh. I'm Haley Outen, and we're excited to recap Week 5 of the college football season. Andy, let's start off by looking back to Friday night. Memphis went to Tulane, and now the Tigers find themselves 0-2 in conference play. Why was the Green Wave able to put on such a dominant performance Friday night?
Haley, it starts on defense, and normally, in I think most leagues in college football, you're not talking about defense first, but Tulane did a great job of shutting down the Memphis run game. I mean, we got to give them a ton of credit in that they held Darrell Henderson to only 51 yards rushing, and of course, they ran for 318 yards. I thought this was the quintessential Tulane kind of win. They slowed the run, they run the ball. They don't get a ton out of their passing game anyway. They made enough plays to be able to win. And for Memphis, this was a real wake-up call defensively.
Let's move on and take a look at Saturday. Temple fell short at Boston College, but the American able to pick up wins in the rest of the non-conference slate. UCF 45, Pitt 14, Mackenzie Milton. Another big performance, back-to-back weeks with 6 touchdowns. What has he proved to the country in the first 5 weeks of the season?
That he is a legitimate Heisman candidate, Haley, and they had that game taken away from them because of the hurricane. So the stats may end up being down, but Mackenzie Milton is making up for it. 328 yards passing. And look, for the Knights, it's all in front of them right now. The non-conference slate is over. We know they're going to really start to sink their teeth into conference play. But the one thing I love about Mackenzie Milton, Haley, is that he plays like he's been there before. You see the confidence and the poise in the pocket and the ability to fit the football into tight spaces. He is as legitimate a Heisman candidate as there is across college football.
Now, the UCF defense only allowed Pitt to score 1 offensive touchdown. So was it the UCF offense that impressed you more in this game, or was it the defense?
It's still the offense to me, Haley, because I think defensively, yes, they showed up against a good Pitt team, but we sort of understand where Pitt is at relative to the Power 6 league that they play in. But this is a game where, coming in, I expected UCF to win this game, Haley. And while defensively they showed up well, they keep scoring points. There are going to be a lot of people.
ECU was able to rally in the last 5 minutes of the game, 2 touchdowns and a game-winning field goal to pull off the victory over ODU. What have we learned about the Pirates in late-game situations? Are they learning to start performing under pressure?
Yeah, Haley, I think so, and I think it really begins with what they've done at quarterback. They've done a good job of settling down that situation. Reed Herring threw for 309 yards. He ran for a score as well, I do believe it was, and 3 touchdowns to 3 different wide receivers. Hey, when you get quarterback play, you got a chance to beat anybody. And Haley, we've talked about all these wide receivers and these explosive skill guys that Scotty Montgomery has been compiling down there in Carolina. So they're on their way. They just need the quarterbacks to continue to grow. There's going to be some bumps. Let's make no mistake about it. But the bumps are ultimately going to lead to something good for ECU.
Pirate fans holding their breaths late in that game, but hey, a win is a win. Now let's talk about SMU. The Mustangs have picked up victories in back-to-back weeks. This time, it wasn't so close. They beat Houston Baptist 63-27. Freshman quarterback William Brown, he threw for a career-high 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. How has the switch under center ignited Sonny Dykes' group?
Well, I think it's given them confidence, and it's the old, hey, this is the guy we want to ride with, so let's go out and do it. All 4 quarterbacks played in this game. Look, they're way better than Houston Baptist. I think that was evident in what we saw in the result. However, I think we're seeing some growth from Sonny Dykes' crew. The quarterbacks look more comfortable. Offensively, I think they're settling into the scheme. And now as they really settle into conference play, now we'll see what they're made of. Do they have the ability to be a 5 or a 6 win team? Or is this going to be a true growth year under Sonny Dykes?
Another freshman that has been lighting it up so far this season is Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ridder. The Bearcats moved to 5-0, Andy, after a 49-7 win at UConn. And get this, Cincinnati found the end zone on 7 of its first 9 possessions. How bought are you into UC through week 5?
I love what they've done so far, and we've talked about Cincinnati and kind of chronicled their rise. And of course, they go on the road and do what everybody has done to UConn this year, which is put up a ton of points and a ton of yards. But the confidence from Desmond Ridder, I mean, look at him. He looks like he's like jogging out there, for crying out loud. It's 270 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, a touchdown rushing. You know, the UConn defense has continued to struggle, but I think Cincinnati showed just how far ahead they are of some other teams who made a coaching change 2 years ago. Luke Fickell's got his team rolling. It is all but certain they're going bowling this year, and they may have a chance to compete for maybe a conference championship. They're playing that well. They may have found their guy at quarterback.
Now, several teams had byes this past weekend, but who left the biggest impact on you in week 5?
You know, I hate to keep saying Cincinnati every week, but when I look at Houston, right? Like, you know, SMU, they put up a number against the team that they should have beaten. You know, Tulane is probably the team that stands out this week in terms of their win over Memphis. But I just keep tracking this Cincinnati crew, Haley, and look at the growth at quarterback. Look at what Luke Fickell is building and the team concept there. And you can't come away with anything but being really impressed with how they've been able to turn it around. So for me, it's Tulane 1, but a close 1A is Cincinnati.
A lot of good victories in week 5, and as we gear up for week 6, conference play really starting to heat up in the American. Make sure to tune back in with us on Thursday night as we preview the start of week 6. On behalf of Andy Gresh, I'm Haley Outen. We'll see you then.